All right, excellent. So it's been a few minutes. A huge thank you to everyone who showed up for this webinar. I know how busy you all are, so it means the world to us here at AblyPro. And today's webinar is going to be about artificial intelligence. It isn't exactly a new concept, and I'm sure most of you already use it in some way or the other, whether you use GPS to get somewhere, you use Alexa in your household, or even if you ask questions through chatbots on a website, right? So today we're going to be discussing the significance of AI and why your enterprise should incorporate AI to keep up with the evolving trends in 2024. My name is Gaurav Chawla. I'm a customer success manager here at AblyPro, and I'll also be the moderator for today's webinar. And it's my pleasure and honor to introduce to you Neeraj Garg. He's our Chief Operating Officer here at AblyPro, and he's going to be taking you through this journey. So before we dive into the details and the intricacies of AI with Neeraj, a few housekeeping tips to keep in mind are, this webinar will be recorded and the recording will be shared with everyone who registered and everyone in attendance after the webinar. You can post any questions that you may have in the Q&A section, and we'll do our absolute best to answer them at the end. With that in mind, Neeraj, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on from which part of the world you have joined this webinar. And if you're looking for why your enterprises needs AI, I think you're at the right place. So as Gaurav said, right, that AI is not something which is very new. We have been using it and we still use it every day. So in today's webinar, what we are going to go through is why your enterprise needs AI and what are the basic prerequisites you should be aware of so that you can frame up your mind, or you can keep in mind that what are the things required to implement a successful AI within your enterprise. So with this in mind, let's get started. So to start with, let's first try to understand a landscape, maybe a technology landscape or a functional landscape of an enterprise, what it looks like. So if you see in a typical enterprise, right, you may be using a CRM. Now that can be Salesforce, that can be Sage or something else. You may have a business intelligence tool in place so that you can have business insights to take decisions, maybe whether it is in sales or marketing or to your management so that they can drive the company forward with the right direction. You may be servicing a lot of customers, so you may be using Service Cloud or a customer service self-portal. You may have field agents working for you, so you may be using an FSL app. Obviously, marketing is a key ingredient of an enterprise, so you may be using a marketing automation tool, which can be Marketer, Salesforce, Pardot. Obviously, since you are an enterprise, all the accounting has to be done, and you may be using Certania or Oracle NetSuite for your accounting. And then apart from that, you may have other internal legacy systems in place for an enterprise, okay? So this is what a typical enterprise landscape looks like, okay? So now if you want to actually implement AI for an enterprise, let's try to understand in next few slides on what you actually need to get that done. So there are 4 steps, right, which are actually required to leverage the power of AI. So I think let's take an example of a bank where the first step is you need to decide what you want to achieve or what you want to predict from the AI tool. So let's take an example of a bank whose main objective is to understand the attrition in it, right? Now, when we say attrition, you need to understand what is attrition. What is the definition that a bank gives to an attrition? So there will be a customer A who may be holding a savings and a current account in your bank, and he closes the savings account. So is this attrition for you, right? Or there is a customer B who has a single account and he moves 90% of his assets to other bank. So a bank has to define the definition of attrition, and that has to be very, very objective, right? So it's very important first to decide the objective of implementing AI, what you want to predict. Okay, like in this case, bank, the objective is they want to predict attrition. And for that, they have to actually define a parameter, what attrition means to them. Is it that customer has moved 90% of his assets to another bank? Or is it that he holds two accounts and he closes one? So what is attrition for them? So once you have decide what the objective of implementing AI is within your enterprise, the next important step is to get your historical data in order, because it's very important to understand that AI runs on historical data. So it is said that if you can't report it, you can't predict it, right? So if your historical data is not in place, there is no point in implementing AI, because what AI does is it actually analyzes the past behavior and then predicts the future behavior, whether it's your members or your customers or your business. So it's very important that your historical data is in order before you even start off thinking of AI, right? And then once you've got your historical data in order and you have got an AI tool that analyzes your data, it can predict, right? Like in this case for bank, uh, based on the historical customer behavior, AI can actually predict uh, customers who are uh, predicted to maybe close their accounts in the next 1 year, or maybe move their assets, 90% assets to another bank, right? So they are able to predict based on the past behavior. And then based on the past behavior or the predictions that the AI gives you, right, you need to take an action on it, right? Because unless you take an action, like in this case, maybe for customers who have an attrition chance of greater than 25%, maybe you can send a special promotional email to them, maybe with a reduced bank rate or maybe increased deposit rates, so that they become they don't leave your bank or don't move their assets. Similarly, you can enhance your actions by using generative AI and maybe sending them personalized emails, because customers require personal touch. And if they don't have that personal touch in place, right, it's very obvious that you may lose them. So these are the four major steps that are required to leverage the power of AI. If you don't have those four first two steps in place, where if you don't know the objective, there is no point, right, implementing AI. What are you going to implement AI, or what are you going to predict? Similarly, if your historical data is not in order, there is no point in implementing AI, because what will AI predict? Because it does not understand the past behavior. And even if the data is wrong, okay, it may produce results which are not relevant to you, and you will not get that kind of insights or predictive insights so that you can take future actions or take actions on it. So at this point, I just want to understand from the audience here. I want to launch a quick poll and want to understand if we have got a clear understanding of their AI objectives, right? So everyone, I have launched this poll. So the first question in the poll is, are you clear on AI objective for your enterprise? Meaning, do you have a problem statement which you want to solve, or do you have a prediction which you want to solve, right? Like in this case, attrition in a bank. It may be that you may be a servicing company, and you may want to increase your customer service. So that is also an objective, right, which you can fulfill through AI. And then the second question is, if yes, you have that objective, is your enterprise historical data in order? So can we have the polls? Let's give them 10 seconds and see the results from the audience, what it is. Okay. Okay, I will end this poll. Okay, we have still people who are actually filling in the poll. Just let's give 5 more seconds to them. Okay, that's good. So we have got 33% of the audience who say that they are clear on the AI objectives for the enterprise. And then another 25% who say that, yeah, they have historical data in order. So that's good. I will end the poll now. It's good that there are people who actually know that what is their AI objective and the historical data is in order. So I think you are in good shape. But if not, I think we can actually see on how we can do it, right? So in the next few slides, what I will do is I will take you through a user story, right? And tell you how an AI can actually help enterprise in increasing their business, or maybe in engaging the customers, or maybe helping them increase customer satisfaction. So we have taken an example of a mobile utilities company. So Airlink is a forward-thinking provider of mobile utility solutions. It offers innovative services tailored to modern lifestyles, specializing in mobile and internet utilities. They empower users to seamlessly manage their connectivity needs through an intuitive mobile platform, ensuring reliable access to essential services anytime, anywhere. Right? So we have got a mobile utility company, and let's understand from that mobile utility company, Airlink, what their problem was and how they actually were able to solve that problem through the use of AI. Okay. So now Airlink, they had a major problem where they realized that their revenue was dipping. And one of the major reasons for their revenue dip was because they were receiving late payments from customers. Okay. And which is a major issue with a lot of customer servicing or water utility companies or any utility company, where you don't get payments on time. And if you don't get payments on time, obviously your revenue dips because you're not earning and you're just spending money. So, and most of the companies don't have a method to predict that in advance, because there is no mechanism. Everything is manual. They only realize it once they run analytics on the data that they have, but there is no system which actually helps them predict that these are the customers who are predicted to pay late payments, so that they can take some actions beforehand and get payments on time. So Airlink had the same problem, and it's a very, very generic use case that a lot of utility companies or any customer servicing or any company faces, where their invoices are not paid on time or their bills are not paid on time. So what Airlink did was they analyzed the problem and then decided that they will give a go to Salesforce Einstein, because they had got Salesforce Marketing Cloud Sales. So they had their enterprise landscape on Salesforce. So they decided to implement Salesforce Einstein and build nothing new out of it. So they implemented Salesforce Einstein on top of what they had. Now, so in the first slide, right, if you see, they have a definite problem, right? They had a problem statement which says that they want to predict late payment. So they had step one, they had the objective, which is decide what to predict. And since they were actually maintaining data, so they had got historical data in place. It was an order, which was an additional advantage to them. And for enterprises who don't have historical data in order, I would suggest that you do a kind of activity or a data cleansing activity or a data analytic activity to understand that your data in your system should be in order, right? There should be no missing records. There should be no junk records. The record should be proper, because if you don't have data in place, prediction would just go wrong, right? So with Airlink, we had historical data in order, so they were good with it. And for AI, right, because you are predicting something, so you need to, as a business, derive some predictive indicators which are going to be used to predict, right? So in this case, late payments. So the business sat down, the Airlink business team sat down, and they identified these parameters or the indicators on which they actually want to run AI so that it can predict, right? Because prediction can either run on the whole data, but that would not be so effective, right? Unless you choose some parameters, it would be faster then and it would produce effective results. So in this case, what they did was they actually analyzed the late payments history. So that was one of the parameters. They saw past instances where people have paid late. Has there been a change in the spending habits of the customers, right? Are they spending more or spending less on your mobile bills? Are they doing partial payments? So a lot of customers or members do not pay a full amount. They do a partial payment. The minimum amount maybe. Either they have got payment delays where they were not paying on time and were regular in delaying the payments. Were there any kind of financial instability indicators? It may be that there may be customers who might have lost their job or they are financially unstable. The kind of engagement they had, so you send payment reminders to them. Are they actually responding to it or seeing your emails or messages? I think that is a very good parameter to take into account, because if they are not engaged with that and they are just ignoring it, that should raise a red flag. And obviously the usage patterns, whether they are using your services or products that you're offering them, has that pattern increased or is it decreasing? Okay, so these were the kind of predictive indicators that the Airlink business team came up with for AI to predict customers who would be paying late. Okay, so this is a prediction, right? This is not an after payment issue. It's they're going to predict and then take subsequent actions based on predictions, based on these predictive indicators. And these predictive indicators can be different for different enterprises. This is just an example for an Airlink where they have identified these predictive indicators. For your enterprise, the predictive indicators may be slightly different. Okay. So they ran the AI, Einstein AI tool on the predictive historical data that they had. And if you see in the screen, right, they have got on the right-hand side a probability score, 99, 98, 97. So this is the predictive score, which suggests the probability of paying late. So anyone with a score of 99, that means he has got a 99% probability of paying late. Similarly, 97 means he has got a 97% probability of paying late. And this data has been generated by the AI. Okay, so it ran analysis on the historical data for Airlink with the predictive parameters that the business provided, and it came up with a scenario with a list of customers with a probability score. Now, if your data is correct, obviously you have to take care of this probability, right? So it has predicted and give a probability score of paying late for all the customers that you had selected. Okay. Now, obviously, this is prediction based on AI. Now, what actions you are going to take? See, you have to take actions on the predictions that AI has made if you actually want to improve the situations. If you just leave it like that and you just want to get an information who is going to predict late without taking any action, then it's not going to benefit your enterprise. So Airlink got this list, which was good. And what they did was the first action that they took, right, was segmenting the customers, which is actually which I think every enterprise should do once they have got the prediction scores. So what they did was they categorized and segmented the late paying customers into 4 categories. Number 1 was the high risk accounts. Now, high risk accounts were those accounts who had a probability score of paying late between 75 to 99. So that means they are high risk accounts. Then they had a moderate risk accounts, which had a score of 50 to 74. Low risk accounts score 30 to 49. And then obviously customers who are generally paying on time, who had a probability score of 0 to 29. So based on that, they realized that the moderate risk accounts and high risk accounts need immediate attention, right? You need to do something about it. Otherwise, these customers will continue their trend and will pay late again, right? So since you have got a prediction in advance, so you can take sufficient actions and you have segmented your data as well, right? So you now know like this is the segment that is high risk, this is the segment that is moderate risk. Now, what should I do for the high risk customers? And this business strategy of actions will differ from enterprise to enterprise, right? So it may be that you may offer some promotional offers to them, you give them some discounts, or you move them to auto pay mode if they are on credit cards, because most of the times we have seen that people who are on credit card or debit card, they don't have an auto payment option, are likely to miss payments. Okay. So Airlink did this segmentation. And for high risk accounts, right, what they did was they realized that the high risk accounts customers were the customers who were actually not on auto payment mode, right? They were not paying automatically. Their payment mode was either credit card or PayPal or anything else, right? It didn't had a recurring auto payment mode. So for all of them, Einstein suggested that they should move to autopay. So this was the next best action, which was suggested by Einstein itself, right? So Einstein not only predicts, so prediction is done by the predictive AI. Now it tells you what next best action could be taken for those high risk accounts. This is also done by AI. So AI is predicting and telling you what to do as well. Okay. So it analyzed and said that high risk accounts are those who are paying, don't have an auto payment mode. So ask them to switch to auto pay. Okay. Now it depends upon you whether you want to take this action or not, but it suggests you actions, the next best action you should take to have timely payments from your high risk accounts. So this is what Einstein suggested to them. Okay. This is for the high risk accounts. Similarly, for moderate risk accounts, it said that you can actually offer them some promotions. Okay. So you can send them promotional emails. And obviously, since we have got generative AI where we have got ChatGPT in place, we have got Microsoft Copilot as well. The AI can itself suggest you what emails to write, right? So in this case, if you see in the content builder, it has suggested you 3 emails you can write to your customers who are moderate risk, right? So first email, we understand the importance of convenience, right? Here, if you see the draft body copy, we understand the importance of convenience when it comes to managing your bills. That's why we are thrilled to offer you multiple payment modes to make your experience as seamless as possible, right? So this is the content that AI is suggesting you, right? You can always go and change it, up to you, right? But this is what he has said. Similarly, embrace the future of payments with mobile payment apps. Pay your bills on the go using popular apps like Apple Pay, Google Pay, or Samsung Pay. Simply add your payment card to your preferred app and tap to pay. Similarly, third email, say goodbye to one size fits all payment schedules. There are customized payment plans. You can create a schedule that works for you, allowing you to manage your payments with confidence and ease. So these are the 3 email drafts that AI is suggested for moderate risk accounts. Similarly, it will suggest things for low risk accounts as well. Okay. But we have taken into account only the moderate risk and the high risk accounts. So these are the kind of actions that AI does, right? So if you go back to the first slide where we started, right, where we defined the 4 steps. So Airlink knew what to predict, right, which was late payments. Then they had got historical data in order, right? Then they, using AI, they got predictions from AI, and then they segmented it. So that was the first action that they took, segmented the customers. And then on top of that, based on segmentation, AI suggested them to enhance their actions, which was either applying promotions, moving them to auto pay mode, or to generate personalized emails so that they make their payments. So they covered all these four portions. Okay. And this is what every enterprise has to cover. This is the very, very basics of leveraging AI, right? Which a lot of enterprises don't know, okay, on how to get started. So these are the four pillars that will actually help you get started for AI, okay? Once you have got these things in place, at least first two steps, right? Where you know your objective, you know the historical data is in order, then I think you are good for implementing AI. So I think you should take care of that. And once these things are done and you get all these predictions, obviously Airlink, because it got those predictions, it took actions. It actually decreased 32% decrease in late payments, which actually increased their on-time payments. Obviously, when your payments are going to increase, it's going to show growth in revenue, and obviously your customer satisfaction is going to grow. So using predictive AI, it's like prevention is better than cure, right? So if you take preventive actions, which is get predictions from AI, take those actions, which will actually lead to a better customer satisfaction based on the data provided by AI. And AI, as you remember, it's all artificial intelligence, okay? It does not have the intelligence of its own. It relies on the data that is present in your system. I again say that it relies on the data that is present in your statement, in your system. So data management is very, very important before you think of AI, right? So if you have any consultants or any vendors who are telling you that we should implement AI in your system, you should actually first ask them to validate your data if that is actually in order to implement AI. And obviously, you should tell them your business objective, because if you don't have an objective why you want to implement AI, just implementing AI does not make sense, right? You should exactly know either you want to automate processes, you want to increase your customer servicing by implementing a chatbot, you want to implement generative AI in your marketing so that it can write personalized emails to your customers, maybe automate the processes in sales so that your sales team can actually spend more time on strategy rather than mundane tasks. So you have to determine where you actually want to implement AI and what is the objective of implementing AI, which department you are focusing on. Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it servicing? Is it finance, right? So you have to decide where you want to implement it and then leverage that power of AI by defining that objective and having that historical data in place. So I think that is what we wanted to cover in this webinar, which is just related to what you should do to leverage the power of AI. So if you have any questions, I think we can answer them. So Gaurav, do we have any questions in the question and answer chat box so that we can answer them?
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much for that phenomenal overview, Neeraj. I see that we do have some questions here in the chat box. So the first question for you is Melanie asked, how do we determine that our historical data is in order?
Okay, so like I said, right, historical data in order can only be determined if you do a data analysis exercise, right? Either if you have an internal team who can actually do a kind of data validation within your systems, or maybe a data cleansing exercise, so that you know that you have got records which are valid, which are actually complete, not missing, which are consistent. Consistent as in, like, if there is a date of birth, it should be in specific format, like MMDDYYYY. So it should be in specific format in all the records. It should not be that there are records which has got a different format. There are some records that are not valid. So it should be consistent. The record should not be missing, in the sense that you should have the telephone numbers, the email IDs of everyone for your customers. Otherwise, how will you contact them, right? So get a consultant who can actually do a data cleansing exercise or a data analysis exercise for you to make sure that your historical data is in place.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Neeraj. Another question in the chat box I see is, what's the difference between predictive and generative AI?
So predictive AI, as I told, right, it actually works on the historical data. Like in this case, I will show you. So this is an example of predictive AI where the AI ran on the historical data to predict probability scores of customers who are going to pay late, right? So it can be so it has predicted the score based on historical data. Okay, so this is the work of predictive AI. For generative AI, so generative AI, as you see, right, in terms of actions, it has generated personalized emails to be sent to moderate risk account segment. Okay, so this is the difference, right? So you do your prediction first, and then you can actually use the generative AI to generate actions that are required to fulfill the objective that you have. Okay, so generative AI generates something, and predictive AI, as the word suggests, predicts the behavior of the customers based on the historical data.
Excellent, excellent. And I see another question. Can we have multiple objectives for AI?
Yeah, we can have multiple objectives for AI. We can have an objective like, I want to enhance my marketing reach, right? By maybe writing personalized emails for my prospects or customers, and I can use generative AI for that. Another can be that I want to predict the past customer behavior, right? And based on the past customer behavior, I want to take further actions. So that can be another objective. For sales team, if you want to enhance the sales, I want to save the time for my sales executive. So I want to automate certain processes so that their time is saved and they spend more time on strategy. So that can be another objective. So depending on what objective you have, you can use different AI predictions and generative AI to enhance those predictions.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for answering that, Neeraj. And thank you to everyone who attended today. It means the world to us. And I hope you guys learned something new. And I'd love to learn any or hear any feedback that you may have after this webinar as well. You can reach us at the email listed over here, wecare@ablypro.com, or you can contact us at 240-259-3076. And just a bit of an overview about AblyPro. We're a team of around 300 Salesforce and Certinia experts. So if you have any questions or need any guidance in terms of incorporating AI into your organization or enhancing your Salesforce and Certinia environment, we'd be more than happy to help you out with that. So please feel free to contact us. I'm sure we'll be able to help you out. Thank you so much for your time, everyone, and have a phenomenal rest of your day. Thank you, Neeraj.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.